Okay, looking through the level 2 questions here. So the first one is written as x minus 3 in the bottom. So just bracket that, bring it up as a minus 1. Divide everything by 3. Remember, bring the power of 3 out with you. So that's 1 over 3. Then use your 1 plus xn formula. Again, you're valid for use your x expression. Remember, modulus gets rid of the minus and bring your 3 out. Number 2, that's the power of a half. Remember, it must start off with 1. So divide everything by 4 and bring the 4 out with the power of a half. 4 to the half is the square root of 2. 1 plus xn formula. Take your time working through that, please. Times by 2 at the end. And your valid expression. X comes from here. So minus is ignored. 4 comes out as a multiply. 3 comes out as a divide. Number 3. Write that as 2 plus x in the top and 2 minus x to the minus 1 on the top. This black bit here doesn't have any power. It just sits. The next one does. So if you look at this here, I'm trying to do it in blue. So it must start off with 1. So divide everything by 2. Bring the 2 out with the power. 2 to the minus 2 is 1 over 2. This is your 1 plus xn formula here. That's me tidying it up. Now I'm going to multiply it all together. I left the half until the very end. So I'm taking this black bracket and timesing it by the blue. So timesing 2 to each of these terms. And then I'm taking x and timesing it to each of these terms. The question only wants you to go up as far as x3, so I don't need to include this x4. Tidy up, then take your half through. Your valid expression, go back to where you started using your formula. So it's minus x over 2. So ignore the minus, bring the 2 out in times. Part 4. The first bracket, the top line is the power of a half. The bottom line is the power of a half, but if you bring it up, it becomes the minus a half. So you've got two different things going on here. This one here is the black bracket. So 1 plus nx all the way down to x3. Now for this one, I did it out in blue. Now you've noticed both of them starts off 1, so you didn't have to do any divisions or anything there. So that's just using 1 plus nx for the second bracket. Tidying up the first bracket, then tidying up the blue bracket. Then I've got to multiply out. So 1 times 1, just times everything in this bracket by 1. The question only wants to go up as far as x3, so I'll remember that when I'm going through now. Minus a half x times 1 times x times this. I don't have to do minus a half x times this because that would give me x to the 4, which I don't need. Now take this term and multiply through. Minus an 8x squared times 1 times x. I don't have to times it by x squared because that would give me x4, which is too much. Then take this term through. So minus 1 over 16x3. I don't have to do these two because that would be x4, which is too much. You should get that expression. Tidying it up. Now you're valid for expressions. The first number was valid for minus x less than 1. That meant x was less than 1. The second one was minus 2x less than 1. So the minus disappears and the 2 completes division. And combining them together, you get x less than a half. Number 2. If I find it here. Write out the first 3 terms of that expression. So bring up your bottom line as minus a half. Already starts off with a 1. So straight into your formula. 1 plus nx plus n minus 1 over 2 factorial x squared. And then tidy up. It only wants the first 3, which is handy. Then in part 2, it's saying show that the root of 1 over root of 0.8 equals root 5 over 2. So this is the way I did it. 0.8 is 8 tenths, which is the same as 4 fifths. That's the same as 1 divided by 2 over root 5. To divide by a fraction, turn it upside down, so it's root 5 over 2, which is what they wanted to show. Part 3. By substituting in x equals 0.1. Now, it wants you to find approximate value for root 5. So if you look at what they have up here, these are equal. I'm trying to get root 5. If you bring your 2 across, root 5 is the same as 2 over root 0.8. Now, I'm looking at the root bit. If you look at your expression that they give you at the start, and look at this, That was the bottom line of the expression at the start, and that's my bottom line from up here. Put the bottom lines equal each other. Work out, and you'll get x equals 0.1. So put this 0.1 into your expression. But if you can remember, that's just getting me 1 over root 8. I want 2 times it to get my root 5. So I've got to 2 times it. So put your 0.1 into your expression and times it by 2. Quite tricky that. You'll see how you got on really with that one. And then the last bit is percentage error. Percentage error is always the error over the exact times 100. I put modulus signs here because it doesn't matter if the error is positive or negative, you're just looking for a percentage error. So take the exact, which is root 5, take away what you got it to be, divide it by the exact and times by 100.